Namaste, I'm Nandini Mouli and welcome to the monthly series Dharmic Reflections from Sri Shiva Vishnu Temple, where we discuss the key tenets of Hinduism and the important philosophical nuances. In Hinduism, Vidya or education is an important means to achieve the four main objectives of the human life, namely Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. In Sri Shiva Vishnu Temple, the Vidya or education is imparted through the Vidyalaya or the knowledge center that has been created. This week, the center has been conducting a series of lectures by a very reputed speaker and writer on topics related to Sanathana Dharma, Shri Dushyant Sridhar. By way of introduction, Shri Sridhar has studied the scriptures like Shri Bhashyam, Shri Guru Bhashyam, Devi Bhashyam, as well as Bhagavat Vishayam, etc., and has given many lectures, thousands of them, globally throughout the year. This week, he has been talking on Sri Lakshmi Narasimha, relevance of Hinduism in modern life, as well as Yaksha Prashna, which is a philosophical exposition. Also, Shri Dushyant Sridhar has been teaching the works of Vedanta Deshika to over 5,000 students all over the world by WhatsApp. Currently, he has also taken up writing a huge work titled Ramayana Sudha, taking into the views of many commentators, philosophers, and poets. Shri Dushyant Sridhar, it is so nice to meet you and have you come and talk with us about your visit to SSVT, as well as a topic related to our monthly series, Dharmic Reflections.
Namaste, it is my pleasure to be in the States and especially at a very special venue to me, the SSVT Temple. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know that Taittiriya Upanishad says, Dharmo rakshati rakshataka. If you protect Dharma, Dharma will protect you. However, there are so many ways people interpret the word Dharma. Dharma is a very complex word. Many say that it is a religious practice. Many say that it is only related to elderly people and also orthodox views and so on. So, in a very basic level, can you please give the meaning of the word Dharma, especially to an youngster growing up in the United States, for example?
The word dharmam can be interpreted in a few legitimate and very rightful way. Any word in Sanskritam has an etymological meaning. It will have its root. For example, the word dharmam appears in Upanishad as well as Vedam, Vedantam and so on. Satyam vada, dharmam chara, these are all statements that keep coming again and again. But the word dharmam has to be interpreted or given the meaning based on the context. For example, dharmam could mean the intrinsic characteristic feature of a person. If you take up fire, the dharmam of fire is to burn. The dharmam of water is to cool. So, dharmam could mean the characteristic feature. Second, dharmam could also mean religion. Religion is a beautiful way to bring philosophy and theology together. So, Hinduism, which we call today, is often referred to as Sanathana Dharma. So, dharmam there comes in the context of religion. The most common parlance or the most common meaning that we can understand for dharmam is the duty or the righteous duty that one has to perform. So that is also dharmam. So dharmam can be construed in many ways, but for all practical purposes, for the way that we have to survive in this world, let us take dharmam to be the duty that we need to perform, the duties that we are ordained to perform, the duties that we can comfortably perform. So this is the best example that we can take for dharma as of now.
Very nice. Excellent. In terms of following it, you can once again take an example of a student growing up in school here, learning, taking up sports, doing extracurricular activities, whatnot, or a grahastha working in a corporate world and so on. But let's once again take an example of a life that's being led by youngsters and middle-agers in the United States. What should be their way of approach to a dharmic life?
I will answer this question. I will just take a small part of the question that was left in the previous part, where you said people construe dharmam to be meant for elderly people. First of all, age is just a criterion. To a person who's 40 years, an 80-year-old person may seem old. To a person who's 15, the one who's 40 may seem old. So mostly age is relative. So now coming back to this question, how do we understand dharmam for a youngster, a school-going boy, or a college-going adult, or a person who's working? So how do we understand and demarcate the dharmam there? Dharmam, as I have told you in the previous section, where we have taken dharmam simply to be the duties that we need to perform. Duties could start from the mundane life. I brush, I bathe, I eat, I walk, I sleep. These are all the basic activities, most of which I have to do for survival. I don't eat just because I love eating. Only if I eat, I can survive. So these are all things that we can never do away with. I have to do with it. I have to walk to go fetch food for myself. I have to brush my teeth. I have to bathe. So these are all things that I'm ordained to do in the daily life. This is at level 1, which most of us are doing. You don't need a special video session for this. But going to level 2, that is where I start understanding the connection and the bonding that I have with my immediate family. I know my mother and father together have produced me. So they have done the dharmam of bringing me to this world. Now I have some dharmam to contribute towards them. How do I contribute towards them? So daily life, if my mother is washing utensils, so the question was related to how do youngsters manage in the US? In the US, most of the things have to be done by us. I cook, I wash, I clean, I mop, I bathe. So I start doing my duties towards my family. I start partaking what my parents do. I don't let just my mother wash utensils. I tell I will also do it. I don't let my father just wash the car. I also do it. This is at level 2. Level 3 is when I start connecting myself with the nature around me. I start knowing that besides my parents, there is one neighbor to me. There are friends to me. So of what use I can be to them? Of what way I can be to the society? So this is the 3rd level. 4th level is where I start connecting with nature. Nature is something that doesn't immediately communicate with me. I don't find the trees communicating with me immediately. But I should know that the oxygen that I intake comes from the trees. So what duty I have for the nature, the dharmam that I have towards the nature, it could be cleanliness, it could be how much I water for my plants, how much I care for them, how much I follow the rules. So this is level 4. The level 5 is where religion comes very close to dharmam, which is where I start understanding about the Atma inside me. The level 5 that I'm talking about need not have to come to every person. To that person who wants to seek truth is the one who starts realizing level 5. So dharmam comes at that stage. So until that level is being reached, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 have to be practiced by a school-going student, a college-going adult, a working person, a retired person, very religiously.
Beautiful. This is so very profound. And it's also very methodical, the way you have explained. You start from yourself and then expand your circle. And the circle actually comes with understanding your own sphere and how does it relate in each level as you expand outward and so on. And when one does that, what are some of the typical obstacles or barriers they would face, either internally or externally? And then my second part to that question is, how do we overcome those barriers?
You can take them as obstacles, you can take them as inhibitions that can come from within. See, when we deal with obstacles, some of it is external,
Yes.
some of it is internal. The moment I say, as an American-born citizen who likes Sanathana Dharma, I say that I'm doing my dharmam, I want to seek the truth. How do I seek the truth? Then I find scriptures, lectures, and so on helping me.
Right.
So what are the obstacles that may come? One, it could be external majorly. When I say external, there is a perception that the community around me may have towards me. They may say, at this era of modern technology, what are you talking about Atma? Have you seen Atma? So these kind of so-called pessimistic questions may put me off. When people ask, do you have proof of God? Do you have proof of existence of God? Have you seen God? To none of the questions I may not have an answer. These kind of discussions may start or stop me from practicing my dharma. So the obstacles could be external from the community where I live.
Yes.
When I tell external, it could also be due to the mundane job that I'm in. I have to go to work, I have to start early, I have to come late night. A day before the Independence Day I work, a day after the Independence Day I work. So there's no independence to me. Ultimately the country has got, but I have not got.
Yes.
So this mundane lifestyle of working may also not help me in practicing my dharma. This is external. Internal. Internal is the very factor that I feel lazy to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced about it. I'm very negative about any approach. So these are all things that are within me. Now, how do I overcome the obstacles? When I know that external obstacles, most of it are not under my control, and internal obstacles are something that is under my control, first I need to correct myself.
Okay.
If I am being lethargic of not performing dharmam, I should start getting active.
Right.
If I am pessimistic about everything that I do and everything that I perceive and everything that I think, I should start creating the positive vibrations in me. What is wrong in practicing dharma? What is wrong in knowing about my dharma? These positive thoughts and corrections within me will help overcome the obstacles that I see within me, internal.
Very good.
As this gets corrected, the external obstacles will start becoming lesser and much easier to cross by. So obstacles to dharma do exist.
Yeah.
They are real, no doubt. But it is all within us to get over it. We can never blame a third person or a second person for it. The first person whom we start with
Yes.
are to be blamed. If we have a will that we can perform and we have to perform, we can do it.
Beautiful. Very well said. Thank you so much for that response. And perhaps maybe we could conclude this interview with one special message. If you could convey to our youngsters, especially in the SSVT community, related to Hindu Dharma or Indian philosophy, or how they can involve in temple activities, any message you may have for them.
This is a wonderful organization, a part of Lanham, Maryland, which is SSVT Temple. I've been here quite a few times. Wonderful temple, a wonderful set of volunteers who religiously work for the upliftment of the community and the temple as such. I wouldn't call it a message, I wouldn't call it an advice, a suggestion or anything. I'm just telling you what comes to my mind.
Absolutely.
Sanatana Dharma is a living civilization. Most of the civilizations that we see in the world are mostly from Asia. You barely have civilizations of the past from the Americas, be it the North or the South America. So we have many civilizations from Asia, one being the Huanghu of China. We have Persian civilization, we have Mesopotamian, we have Sumerian, we have Indus Valley. One from Africa, which is Egyptian civilization. So civilizations have existed for millenniums of years. We've had for 4,000, 5,000 years. But probably the only living civilization, when I say living, the civilization that is being practiced till date is Indus Valley or the Sanatana Dharma or the Hindu civilization. You go to Iran, Iraq, which practiced Persian and Mesopotamian 3,000 years back, you don't find even traces of it today. Egyptian civilization, you just have the pyramids, the Sphinx and the mummies, nothing else of the civilization. You go to China, you've got products filling the market of China,
Yes.
Chinese products, but you don't have anything of the civilization left.
Yes.
But today, Sanathana Dharma is the only living civilization in the world. The mantram that was recited by Kashyapa Maharishi millenniums of years before is still being recited in Shiva Vishnu temple, in the temples of US, in the temples of India. So, first of all, the moment of pride should come to us that we are from one of the oldest civilizations. We come from a civilization that tells you that every religion in this world is that which takes you to God. There is no one religion which alone takes you to God, but Sanatana Dharma tells every religion is equally important. This is one of the only religion that tells that every religion is important.
Yes, absolutely.
This is one of the only religion that tells you that all paths lead you to God.
Absolutely.
Which is very, it's the pinnacle of being magnanimous,
Yes.
the pinnacle of being positive. So I don't find fault with religions. I tell them that every religion is different, but every religion is good.
Yes.
So this is the biggest message that we have for the current world when the world is fighting on religion. When the world is fighting on differences in color, creed, caste, gender. Today Sanatana Dharma tells the bodies could be different. It could be that of a male, it could be that of a female. You could be black, you could be yellow, you could be white, you could be brown.
Yeah.
You could be male, you could be female. You could be a Hindu, you could be a Muslim, you could be a Christian. The bodies are different,
Right.
but the Atma is
It's
the same.
Yes.
So this religion is all inclusive. This religion unites you. This religion makes you feel that you are good as much as the other person is good.
Pure.
So the message to members of SSVT temple or anybody who views this is, we come from religion that is very liberal, that respects everyone, and we should feel proud about it. Just feeling proud will not help. Following and practicing dharmam will help. Following and being a volunteer will help. Following and being a proud fan and a follower of this religion will help.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Very, 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 very beautiful message.
Thank you.
So much for doing that. And I know we had very limited time today, but in spite of it, you were able to cram so much pearls of wisdom in this time. And thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you so much.
And viewers, you had a treat in the last 15 minutes. You're also going to be treated with the entire lecture today by Dushyant Sridhar through our recording. It's going to be available to you through this network as well as SSVT channels. You can go to www.ssvt.org and pull out the video from the archives. And we hope to see you next time. Until then, I'm Nandini Mouli, along with my special guest, Shri Dushyant Sridhar, saying thank you to you for tuning to our program today. Namaste. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.